And in this live, we're going to be talking about your social media presence. Now, I'm live on YouTube, I'm live on our free Facebook group, and I'm also live on Instagram. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and take a moment to pin my comment before we go ahead and get started. So, welcome, those of you who are joining on Instagram, those of you who are joining on YouTube. Welcome. And those of you who are watching from the Facebook group. So let me go ahead and pull some things up so that I can see the chat. Let me go ahead and pin my comment. Welcome in. Okay, so let me pin this comment real quick. Live on YouTube, link in bio. And again, we're going to be talking about your social media presence. I have some information I want to share just from my own experience of things I've been testing this year. And I want to share that with you all, especially things that I've had my own clients say that I think would be really, really helpful as we move into this next year and you're starting to think about your social media presence. But first, as always, I love when you share where you're watching from. So, what part of the world are you in right now? What type of massage do you do? Just go ahead and introduce yourself in some capacity when you come into the chat. And let's see, let me make sure everything's pulled up on YouTube. Yep, cool. And as y'all are introducing yourselves, let me go ahead and introduce myself in case this is your first time watching. My name's Ayana. I'm a licensed massage therapist, esthetician, and spa owner. And I make YouTube videos about spa business strategy. I'm also the founder of SpaBizSuccess. We've been in this 2 years in the running. And my whole mission is to help spa professionals up level their business. That is the mission. Welcome, Cleveland, Ohio. Hello. I see North Carolina. Tallahassee. Welcome. Miracle Miriam says, good evening. Hope you're doing well. Currently in Tallahassee, not an LMT or esthetician, but considering switching to it from elementary education. Well, welcome in. Yes. I think a lot of people are thinking of making the switch right now because this industry is really growing. And I'll be talking about that in a future live. Mom's Herb says, hello from Chicago, massage therapist, wellness coach. Welcome in. Sassy Hand says LMT in New Orleans. Okay, so we're watching from a lot of different places. Very excited for y'all to be joining me today. I'm really going to dive right into it. I know I'm joining a little bit late. Bedtime was kind of rough. Not going to lie. So I'm in here a little tardy. Savannah, Georgia. LMT and esthetician, Houston, Texas. This is so exciting. Yeah, so I know I've made quite a few videos over the past couple months about social media. And the reason why that is because it is another channel that I've been diving into more heavily. As a lot of you know, I mentioned that one of our main marketing channels is through organic search on Google, using keywords on Google, and trying to generate reviews and posting on Google. A lot of people don't know you can post on Google and get discovered that way. And so now that it's 2023, and we've had quite a few years to really master that channel. 2023, I said the spa is going to dive more into social media and use that as more of a marketing channel. And so that's exactly what we did. We've been posting more frequently, and apparently it's been winning us clients. And I do have a story to share about that. And I want you to start to rethink what it means to be on social media for your business. I'd love to know, what are some of your challenges with social media? Beautiful Overcomer said, LMT transitioning from a franchise to entrepreneurship. You're in the right place. You're definitely in the right place. But I'd love to know some of your challenges with social media. First, I want to dive into a couple of myths, some things that we need to bust like right out the gate. Number one, a big myth that I've heard, especially from my students or even some of you all who message me or comment on some of my content, is that you feel like you need to do the song and dance for your audience. You need to entertain your audience in some capacity. You see people dancing on TikTok to promote themselves or just for fun, and you wonder if you have to do the same, if you have to create content that is just as enticing. I believe this is a myth because I want you to start to rethink what the content, for example, on Instagram is for. Best time to post. Yes. And so when it comes to social media, I want you to think of it as showing people that the lights are on. Imagine it being like your storefront. It is the window in front of the store where people can peep in and see what it is that you offer. They can see a little bit about the services that you do or learn more about what it is that you're doing in your practice. I don't want you to think of it as necessarily a way where all your clients are going to be on social media, or you need to get likes, or you need to get shares, or you need to get comments, or you even need to have followers. There are so many successful spot owners right now who hardly have a social media following, but they're still posting, showing people that the lights are on, showing people what it means to get a service done at their place. I always talk about the three main pillars of content that you need at your spa. And the three main content pillars are showing your results. So this could manifest in before and afters. It could also just manifest in, let's say, testimonials. But I love to show things like before and afters, and not just for those of you who are in the beauty side of the business, but those of you who are even, heavily in, let's say, medical massage. I love the idea of showing those before and afters of, for example, when you do specific work, let's say on a shoulder, and you can show how you lengthened the muscles there, and you could see a difference in just the height of the shoulder from there. Like showing, bodily assessments in that way and presenting that as content is perfectly acceptable. Welcome in, LMT in Virginia. Welcome in. But yes, so that's how I want you to start thinking of your social media presence. Recently, I had a conversation with, well, she's not a new client now. She's now two packages in. But when she was a new client, I asked her, of course, how did you hear about us? And I already knew because in our intake, it does ask that very, very important question. How did you hear about us? And that was in, yeah, the intake form. And she said Instagram on that form, but I still wanted to verbally ask. And I highly recommend you verbally ask your clients when they first come in, especially new clients, how did you hear about us? Because sometimes there is a story. It's really good to be in person with them and ask that question rather than just see it on a piece of paper. Because sometimes there's a story behind it that you may not be aware of. But she told me that she was actually in between and she was actually traveling from out of town, which I feel like makes it even more special that she decided to choose us. But she was traveling from out of town, not that far out of town, like I'd say an hour and a half. And she said she was in between choosing our business and another business. But what was the decider for her is the fact that we had so much content. Now, she didn't say you had so much content. What she really said is that you had more information, you had more stuff on your page, you had more examples of what it is that you do. And of course, I'm paraphrasing. And so, what I took that to mean is that when your social media presence really represents what it is that you do, and then you're also educating, especially if you're in a specialized service, such as lymphatic drainage, or such as prenatal, or such as name another specialty service. There's so many. Um, but when you're a specialist in something, it is so important to have that education aspect in a way that really represents you and your business. And so I just found that to be really enlightening, that she found that there was just more evidence on our page that we really do this. We really do what we say that we're doing, and we're really getting results. And so I want you to use your social media page really as your portfolio. This is a great way to showcase, let's say, your testimonials, or showcase that you know what you're talking about, you know what you're doing, especially if you're in a specialized field, because more than likely, the client looking for you, if you're in a specialized field, they've already done some research on what it is that they think that they need. They've done research on the niche that you're in. They're just trying to find someone who's good at it, someone who knows about it, so that they don't have to explain XYZ to them. Please type a yes if this resonates, or if you've had this experience before where your clients let you know that they chose you because there was just more out there. Or maybe you can share, if you're not posting on social media, that maybe you would like to post more, because that would show that you're the expert in whatever specialty that you're in. So I think that would be a better mindset switch when it comes to social media. Don't see it as this place where you have to entertain your audience, you have to do the song and dance, you have to be dancing and, all that stuff, entertainment. That's all fun. If that's fun for you, that's great. That's great. But for me, that's too time consuming. And it doesn't really, it's fun, but think about even on Instagram, that content is it just disappears so quickly. And the people that you want to target are really your local folks. So even when you post, let's say, a reel, and even if that reel went, let's say, viral, that can be an amazing opportunity for your business to get your name out there, but you're still trying to target local people. And so it doesn't matter if your content goes viral. It doesn't matter how many likes or how many shares you get. Well, actually, shares, I take that back. Shares are great. But it doesn't matter how many followers you have, as long as you are posting consistently and those posts really, really represent what it is that you do at your business, and they showcase your work, and it showcases that you get people results and you make a difference in their lives, then that's all you need to do. It doesn't matter if you get 2 likes, 0 likes, 5 likes, or let's say 100 likes. That's great. But you really don't need that to make a difference, because there are a lot of people, especially if they're looking for a specialized niche service, they are just like checking to see if you know what you're talking about. They may never they may never DM you, they may never comment on any of your content, but they are watching and they are using it to make a decision about if they are going to call you or book with you or not. So that is something that I'm learning now that I'm leaning into Instagram and Facebook. Again, my first couple of years of business, it was really all about Google and indexing for Google and really learning that algorithm. I can honestly say that I feel like I'm more of an expert in that social media channel, and I know what to do when it comes to that social media channel. But now we want to start to attract clients who are saying, okay, we found you on Instagram, or we saw your post, or we saw this and this and that, or someone shared your post with me. That's what we want to see. Because what I recommend when it comes to your marketing is that you focus on one channel. And once you feel like you've mastered that, and how you know you master that is that you're getting a good, steady amount of new clients, not just returning clients, but new clients from this channel consistently. And in that intake form, it says, I found you here. And that's the channel that you've been focused on. And once you feel like you've got that down packed, it's time to move on to the next marketing channel. And that could take you a year, that could take you 2 years. As long as you master one, then you can move on to the next one. I'm seeing some yeses in the chat. Yes, I would like to try social media marketing. Yes, this is something that I'm really testing and really trying to focus on. And everything that I find, I'm just going to report back to y'all. Does that sound good? Because it's really all just an experiment to see what works and what doesn't. But there are some things that just like, there are trends and patterns. And one of the biggest trends I'm seeing is that the person who has the most information available about whatever subject they are speaking to, that's the person who's going to win over the client. Because again, you have, especially if you're in a niche field, you more than likely will have some competition, even if it's not a lot of competition. And if it's not a lot of competition, that makes it even more difficult in a way, because that means there's only 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 choices for your clients to choose from. And more than likely, they're going to choose the person who has more information and the one who seems like they know what they're talking about. I see a question that says, which one is the easiest for a beginner? That's a great question because I think it depends on where you are in your journey. For example, let's see, it seems like now we can't even say that social media is for the younger generation because everyone is on social media at this point. So I feel like that one might be the easiest one to get into, but it probably depends on who you ask. Because I'm sure if I asked a lot of you, you might say that social media seems more difficult to get into because there's probably also a mental component of it because it's very outward facing. Oftentimes, your peers or your family are also on social media. But if you're marketing on Google, your peers and family, they're not really going to see that. Really, your clients or the people searching for you are going to see that. So that's why it's a little bit of a loaded question. So what I would say is the easiest one for you to get into as a beginner if you're just now starting to market for your business is going to be the channel that you spend the most time on anyways, or ask yourself, how are you finding new people to work with? How did you find your lash tech, or how did you find the person who did your nails, or the person who did your hair? Did you find them on Instagram? Did you find them on Google? Did you Google a hairstylist in your area? Where are you finding your service providers? That is probably the place that you might want to start first. Welcome, welcome, those who are joining on Instagram. But yes, I would highly recommend to start creating a list of questions that your client often asks, a list of things that people don't really know about the niche that you're in. For example, I actually recently came across a post. Oh, I wish I knew the name of the creator because I believe we follow each other. They are also a massage therapist, and they were explaining the benefits of ear candling. And this is something in some of the stuff that she was mentioning. I thought, wow, I wish I would have known about this before because I definitely would have found someone to do this type of service for me because that's a service that I didn't really know about. Um, but I'm sure if I was experiencing some of the issues that she was saying that ear candling helps with, then I definitely would have tried to find someone to do that service. But I'm definitely going to go with the person who has more information on it. The person who, like, if I look at their content, all my frequently asked questions are already answered. Yes, I see you offer that service. Yes. So you probably know some things about that service that other people don't know about. But if someone is experiencing, I believe I saw in that post, and I don't want to share any misinformation, but it said that it can help with, let's say, ear infections and things like that, or swimmer's ear. If that's the case, then you need to be making posts about that. And you need to be connecting with maybe fellow, I don't know, swimmers or people who are in aquatics or something. But yeah, so I highly, highly recommend just creating a list of questions that are commonly asked when you're doing those pre-service consultations. I talk about consultations more often now because that is another thing that I tested this year that is definitely going to stay in my business and has really changed the game. So if you all want to see a live about that or see a video about that, certainly, definitely let me know because we can talk about it. But again, that's why business, I feel like, is trial and error. I mean, there are certain principles that you can follow, such as being consistent with your marketing or making sure that you're niching down your services. These are things that, have been tested over and over and over again that you can tell a general audience. But some things are trial and error. And so that's why I like to try different things in my business. There are going to be some things that I'll be trying next year or things that I'm going to be eliminating for next year. And I just can't wait to share those things with you all. Share what I've learned, share what's not working so that I can give you all recommendations for moving forward. But I'd love to know as I move into the next information that I want to share about social media, I would love to know what has been holding you back from posting on social media. What really is the obstacle? What is the thing that just gets in the way every time? It's like you think about it and you kind of know you should be doing it, but what is really stopping you at this point? 'Cause I'd love to hear what that is. I know for a lot of people, it's feeling like there's not enough time, or it's maybe fear of being seen, which is completely understandable, or just maybe second guessing the quality of their content. What is it for you? As I kind of look over my notes about what I want to share next. Not enough time in the day. I completely understand that. I haven't created any accounts yet. Fear of the unknown. That that is completely valid. Voiceovers are hard. I feel like I over explain. Okay, I'm gonna simplify some of these things for you and see if I can challenge some of these obstacles. Well, first of all, to the one that mentioned that there's not enough time in the day, in the upcoming training, I'm sure you've heard about it. I'm hosting a live masterclass, a live training. And one of the main points of the training is talking about social media presence. And in that training, I'm going to be talking about like my workflow, how I'm able to create and batch content within 2 hours, 2 hours max for the month, and batch it out for the next couple of months. Like as of right now, based on how much content I've gathered, and I'll be sharing like all the numbers, like how long it took, like all that stuff, and break down, really how much time am I really spending on it. We're good for content, I feel like, for the next year. Now, maybe that's a stretch. It might be a stretch. I don't think it's a stretch because content can be repurposed, and I can't wait to show that to you as well. But content can be repurposed and reposted, and captions can be changed, and all that stuff. So I feel like we're good for the next year. Of course, I'm going to want some like fresh images, and I'm going to keep recording content, but we could at least be good for the next 6 months. And that took We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. But I do understand the sentiment of not having enough time. What was another one? The voiceover. So that is a specific type of content. And I know exactly what you're talking about because I have a few things in my drafts that need a voiceover. Now, those are more like vlogs. Those are more like showing you how I spend my day, because I know a lot of people are curious about, kind of behind the scenes. But if you are marketing to your clients and the service that you are marketing is, let's say, massage or facials or a special type of massage and facial, voiceovers are great. But you can always keep your content less than 30 seconds. That is a good rule of thumb. If you are creating a video, that's awesome because videos are way more dynamic than just static photos. Although static photos are fine, because remember I said all you need to do is let your clients know that the lights are on. Let them know that you are still operating, you still have a business, and you're the expert in the field of what you're doing. But I would recommend, if you are insistent on creating voiceover type of content, to just keep it less than 30 seconds and only explain one thing in that video. Just one thing. It could be, this is why you need to consider ear candling, or this is who ear candling is for, or this is the most common myth about ear candling. And it's a video of you setting up the ear candling station, and it's less than 30 seconds. Leave it at that because they're moving on. I mean, how much time do you all spend on one piece of content? It's probably less than 30 seconds. So that's one thing I can say to that. And keep it simple too. They say, even in marketing, one of the best rules of thumb for any marketer, because if you think about it, if you own your business, you are a marketer. It's just how it is. You are now a salesperson. You are selling your services. It's just how it is when you have a business. And if you don't sell, you don't really eat, or you don't generate income for that business. Of course, that doesn't have to look the same for everyone. It doesn't have to be, the connotations that we get from selling. But when you are marketing, one of the good rules of thumb is to make sure that when you're expressing yourself, you're expressing as if you're explaining it to a third grader, because a lot of people don't have a lot of capacity, especially if they're scrolling, for anything else. Just explain it as plainly as you can. Don't try to use overcomplicated language. So that's my suggestion for that. Not sure what to post and the time to post. That's a good one. So, when it comes to not knowing what to post, again, I always recommend three pillars are going to be your testimonials. So, if you have any testimonials, if someone has ever texted you how much they appreciated your work, or if you have any Google reviews or Facebook reviews, or any type of reviews on any platform, that is easy to repost. So, that's done. Check. The next one is service demo. So, demonstrating the type of services that you have, that is really, really important. That could be a 15-second clip of you doing a session. It could be a 30-second clip of you doing a session and then explaining a misconception about the service that you do, or most frequent questions about the service that you do. Lastly, is any type of, let's say, promotional content, or if you can provide any before and afters. So, really, anything that demonstrates that you get people results and there's some type of transformation that people go through when they're working with you, whether that is, better posture, or that they will have more range of motion. And now you're showing the proof of that in your content. And again, I would recommend keeping it less than 30 seconds and only explaining one thing. Going back to some of the comments, some of the obstacles that you all have about social media, in terms of what to post, I did just cover that a little bit. Again, I would just recommend just sharing information, but sharing information in a way that's easily digestible. Perfectionism. You know what's interesting? I would challenge that perfectionism because I also have that as well. And that's really in a lot of things that I do. It's something that I'm trying to let go of, because social media is really about perception. You can change people's perceptions of you, of what you do, like very, very easily. And you can manipulate perception very, very easily. We have so many filters, we have so many just so many effects. There's just so many angles, and people are not going to see the full thing. And so there is this pressure to make content perfect, especially when we're seeing different vanity metrics on other people's content, such as seeing someone got 500 likes. So that must mean that this piece of content is closer to perfect than the piece of content that got 2 likes. And I want to tell you now that we just need to eliminate this idea of what they call vanity metrics, which is, seeing the number, attached to a piece of content. Because again, we're just trying to show our clients that we are operating, we are working, and we are trying to help them qualify us to decide to book with us. And so when it comes to perfectionism, I would recommend just like not overthinking it. Because at some point, if you post enough, you will stop overthinking it. Now, there are some things that you may want to do that, is best practices, let's say for Instagram versus Google, or Instagram versus Google. What you would post on Google would be a little bit different than what you post on Instagram. It's just different rules because it's a different platform. So, when it comes to perfectionism, you'd be surprised. I mean, if you look at some content, you will see some content that is very low energy. It might be 7 seconds. It might be just one single scene. It might even be a photo. And it's still helping clients qualify whether they're going to work with that person or not. Um, and also, I would recommend really focusing more attention in the caption versus the actual video itself. So that's what I would recommend when it comes to perfectionism. But I totally understand that because I'm currently challenging that myself. Another thing when it comes to perfectionism in social media, if you just do a little digging around, and of course it's hard to know whether a spa is doing well, or even what you qualify as doing well. Is doing well mean like they're just getting a lot of clients? Does it mean that they are retaining their employees? Like, does it just mean they have like a very beautiful facility? Whatever that means. But you can look at, let's say, other massage therapists, other spas, see what they're doing, see what they're posting. Matter of fact, just go to Massage Envy's page and you will see that they do not do a lot of effort or put a lot of effort towards their content, but yet they have thousands and thousands of clients. Now, that's for a different reason. That's more of a corporation, but it's just an example that not everything has to be perfect. And the type of social media presence that you have does not really determine necessarily, if people are going to book with you or not. It's just this method of people seeing what you do. And when you're making content, you just want to make sure if like a client, let's say your dream client, they come to your profile, that they feel like they're in the right place. That's what I would recommend. So I'm definitely going to be talking about organization on the masterclass. Some tools that I can give you in terms of organization. I would recommend having a Google Drive, like some type of Google Drive, or some people like Dropbox, but some type of cloud-based folder, because making content can be as simple as just, again, making like a 5-second clip of you in your treatment room, or 30 seconds of you in your treatment room, or you like setting up your treatment room, whatever the case may be. And you want to be able to easily upload that to a drive. Just again, so you don't bog down your phone with so many videos and images. But if you can upload it to a drive and then spend some time on Canva, or even if you don't do that, just immediately create the content in Instagram and save it as a draft, and just continue doing that until you have a good amount of content that you're ready to pre-schedule, because you can pre-schedule just straight from Instagram, or you can use Facebook Meta Business Suite. That's completely free. I've done some demos on that in the past, and I do have some trainings on that on YouTube. But when it comes to organization, I think it's just like time management, like deciding, okay, today I'm going to take some content, or make some content when I'm at the spa today, because I have about 4 clients and maybe they've all signed their photo consent form. Or you can simply ask them, is it okay if I videotape some of this session? Of course, your face will not be in it, whatever the case may be, unless they are okay with their face being in it. I think that can be really helpful. Ooh, I'm seeing some comments about equipment. I say just use your phone. Just use your phone. All you need is your hand and your phone. And I know I'm like super simplifying it, because again, we're not trying to make curated pages. Now that's great and that can take a lot of time, that can take a lot of money, but you really don't need that, because again, there are plenty of successful spas who are not, investing so much in like the appearance necessarily of social media, but more so investing in being consistent on social media to let their clients know that they're still around. When you are looking for a service, let's say you're looking to get your brows microbladed. That's something I'm currently looking for. The first place I'm going to look through the hashtags on Instagram. That's the first place I'm going to look. And then I'm going to try to find someone who demonstrates really good work of what they do. So that is, again, the content piece that I would recommend, showing what you do. My brain is probably going to be more attracted to the video. So someone showing their process, showing how it is they do what they do, because I have some questions. I want to know, does it hurt? How long does it take? How much does it cost? Is there any aftercare I need to be aware of? Can I go to the pool afterwards? Like all those things. Well, no one's going to the pool right now, but that is like my process as a consumer, as someone looking for a service provider. Um, so when it comes to equipment, I feel like a lot of, especially service providers, they just film on their phone. I've been filming on my phone for a very, very long time. I actually have this, very expensive camera. I've never used this once. And I got this because I thought I needed it to be a content creator. I'll show y'all on Instagram. But I've never used this. This was a hefty little penny. And I just use my phone. And the phones are a hefty penny too. So that's something to think about. We all have little computers in our hands that have cameras attached to them. We can just use that. And of course, it can be helpful to use a tripod as well. But even before I had a tripod, I would just put my phone up against like the towel warmer, the towel warmer, or on a desk or something. And even before that, when I was mobile, I would set up the phone sometimes on the floor, sometimes on a desk, wherever I can prop it up, and still make content that way. I haven't been back on social media in over a year, so I haven't created a platform for myself as an upcoming massage therapist. I'm in clinicals. Anatomy and physiology is killing me. Okay, so it sounds like you're in school right now. And something I wish I would have done, and I'll be discussing this next week in the class. But one thing I wish I would have done is created more content while I was in school. Like that is a very incredible thing that you can do for your marketing, especially if you know that you're going to create a business right out of school, is to take your potential clients on the journey with you. So, for example, wow, I wish in clinicals, when I was in clinicals, the people that I worked on, hey, follow me on social media. When I get out of school, you could see my journey. Eventually, they'll see a post about me launching the business, and whatever the case may be, they might remember me or they might refer me. That's something I wish I would have done, is connected with people on social media, the people that I worked with while I was in school, or even right after school, or really anywhere that I ever worked at, is having them follow me on some type of social media. Even if I was working for another business, is still having any client that I ever worked on follow me on social media. But I had to start over from scratch, which I'll be showing y'all how to do in this training. I'm so glad the tutorial helped you. Yes, there are so many tutorials on just for free on YouTube that I have for you all in regards to social media. There's another video that I'm queued to film that I'm very excited about that I think you all are going to love, kind of like the behind the scenes of what it looks like for me to create content. Content for the spa, that is. But again, I want to summarize some of the points that I have as y'all share your takeaways or anything that you might want to share before we close out. Is there is a myth, again, that we need to bust about social media being this place where you only entertain. It's really a place where you need to be educating and informing and showcasing. Think of it as your portfolio. And actually, that's what Instagram was originally for. I wouldn't say that was the purpose, but a lot of photographers used it as their portfolio when Instagram became a thing. And now they didn't have to carry those big old like printed portfolios that people used to have when, yeah. Anyway, but think of social media as your portfolio, the place where people can learn more about what you do. Again, I shared that story about how my client told me that she was in between me and someone else that's actually closer to her. She traveled to me, even though I was an hour and a half away. She lives in Georgia. I live in Florida. And she traveled to us and became a repeat client. And she was in between me and someone else because I had more content on my page. I had more information on my page. So I think that built trust. I think that's what I got from that conversation, is that information on my page built trust, especially because the type of work that I'm doing is a very specific thing that not a lot of people are skilled to do. And so I want you to think of your practice in that way, is just use your social media presence as a way to really showcase and educate your potential audience about what it is you do. I don't want you to think about how many likes am I going to get. I want you to like take that out of your mind. And I think that will help you when you're creating your content, when you're like trying to make sure that it's perfect and you're editing it to perfection. Like just know it does not matter how many likes you get. It does not matter. It doesn't matter how many people follow you from it. It is pretty great if people share your stuff. And I would recommend in your practice somehow, in your rebooking strategies, that you encourage your clients to share your stuff on social media. I have a student, she created a not a policy, but an incentive where she would give her clients some type of add-on, because I always teach, give an add-on, don't give no discounts, don't give no coupons, but some type of add-on if they shared her page with their, like, if they put her on her story, on their stories, so that she can reshare it and she can keep that, and that's her social proof. So I thought that was a genius idea that she did. But yes, we're going to be talking more about social media presence. I do want to share with you all, if you are again watching for the first time or you're unaware, I am hosting a training sharing what I would do if I was starting from scratch in 2024. That's going to be next week. Um, yes, if you register, you can get the replay. There is going to be a replay if you're unable to show up live. But if you can show up live, you're going to want to show up live because I always reward people for showing up live and mirroring back the energy that I hope to have on the masterclass. And so that's going to be taking place next week. If you are watching on Instagram, then you can actually comment RSVP and I will send you the link to your inbox. So I'm going to send you a link and that's where you would register. And then those of you who are watching on YouTube, I'll go ahead and put the link in the description box after I'm done filming this live. And then you can get it that way, or you can just message me the word RSVP on Instagram, and then I will make sure that you get registered for this masterclass. You're going to want to save your seat. Now you got to comment after the the video is over, I think. But if you message me RSVP, then I'll see it then, and then I'll send you the link. But I don't think you I'm not going to remember who posted in the chat on the live itself. But I do appreciate the energy, like the RSVP energy. Yes. But we are going live again. Oh, I think tomorrow. Yes, going live again tomorrow. Let me tell y'all what time. We're going live at 6 p.m. I guess I said that I'm not doing these late night lives. So we're going live tomorrow at 6 p.m. Oh, we're talking about raising your rates. So talking about increasing your prices before the new year. So I hope that you all are excited about talking about price and talking about money and feel comfortable talking about money and talking about price. I mean, we are business owners. We should be talking about money. We should be talking about your rates. But again, after this replay is posted on Instagram, comment RSVP and I will send you the link. No, I don't have an email address in the description, but it's probably on the website. Which is ayanatrue.com. But yes, comment RSVP on Instagram, not on YouTube, but on Instagram. Although you can, if you're telling me that you're going to be there, or send me a message on Instagram, and I will go ahead and send you the link. And if you feel like connecting, just let me know what it is that you're struggling with right now, because that will help me when it comes to making more free trainings. And again, I appreciate all of you, every single one of you who showed up live to this live. And I hope to see your face again tomorrow for another live at 6 p.m. Eastern, where we're going to be talking about increasing your price. And I truly hope that this live session was super helpful for you. I really hope that you took something from it and you feel inspired to take action, or at least think differently about your social media presence and what it means to do content marketing. But again, I will see y'all tomorrow, and I'll see you on my stories, and I will see y'all in the DMs when you message me RSVP. All right. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.